Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so that potential buyers can learn more about the business and the seller to help them make an informed buying decision. If you would like to learn more about this business, including details like what type of business it is, how much revenue and profit it makes, and all of the assets included with the business, simply visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business's listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and in the description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. So without further ado, let's get into this interview. First up, let's learn a little bit about you. Can you tell us about your background in building and running online businesses?
My experience in building and running online businesses is really just about this one business. My background is in education, and I left in 2018 specifically to set up this business with the business idea that I had. And during the last 7 years, my time has been spent learning about and building and growing the business. So whilst I'm definitely not an expert in e-commerce and online businesses, I think I can safely say I'm probably an expert in my niche and in my specific business. That's what I've worked really hard to do. So I've spent lots of time training and learning about marketing, social media, about my branding and having a specific niche. I've taken on board lots of training opportunities, and I've done absolutely everything in my business myself. So even things that are outsourced now, dispatching products, I have somebody doing my marketing, I have somebody helping me with the SEO. All of those things that I've outsourced, I've previously done myself, partly because I had to at the start, because I didn't have the finances for anybody else to do it, but also I guess because there's an element of me that likes that control. So I've always felt that if you have an agency or somebody working for you, you should absolutely know what they're doing and almost be a little bit of a step ahead of them so that you can keep an eye on where your money's going and what they're doing. So that's my background. That's my experience, is just around this business and is just very specialized to this one online business.
Why are you selling the business now instead of keeping it and growing it further?
I'm selling the business now as personally, it's probably the right time for me. I never really had an exit plan or strategy or an amount of time I wanted to have the business. The last couple of years, I've lost both of my parents, and I'm looking now at thinking I want to take early retirement and enjoy some time. I've toyed with keeping the business and putting a manager in there, or just keeping the business myself and letting it tick along. Neither of those things sit really well with me. I'm not a tick along kind of person, and I wonder whether I could just leave a manager to it. So I think I'd just end up back in there anyway. And to be fair to the business, ticking along wouldn't cut it. I think in business, you can't just tick along and coast for too long. So inevitably the business would go backwards, and that's the last thing I want. So really, I'm looking for who can take the business to the next level, who can scale it and grow it with my ideas and with their own ideas, so I can see the brand flourish further without me in the future.
Can you describe the amount and the type of work that you do on this business to maintain it?
I spend probably on average between 10 and 15 hours a week running the business. Some weeks it can be a lot more than that, and some weeks could be a lot less. And obviously I can take holidays as I want, as everything does run without me. I would say my main tasks are management tasks, particularly managing stock and inventory levels, making sure that orders are in on time with suppliers, negotiating costs, looking to new suppliers and new product development. I also oversee and meet with my marketing manager every week and with the company who takes care of SEO on my website once a fortnight, making sure that we've got the right target set, that we've got correct keyword targeting, and that we're first page on Google. I would spend my time as well amending the website, so looking at new content for different seasons each month, different images on the website, making sure that everything is refreshed and renewed and still relevant, writing content for the website, writing blog articles, and I guess checking that there's consistency across all of the platforms that we have.
So, if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
If I were to keep the business, some of the ways I would try and grow it would be investing more in stocks, as that would naturally just scale the business. So during our winter season, the last 2 years, we've run out of stock of some specific items. And this year we tried new colorways and they went really well. So probably invest as much money as I can into stock to grow that just naturally anyway. I would look to expanding the niche that I'm in into a couple of different areas without giving too much away. There are different markets that are relevant to my niche and I get lots and lots of inquiries about. So I would probably look at moving into those niches. I would develop some of the gifting aspect that we have on our website. And I would also look to other countries. So predominantly we sell in the UK. However, there's a great market available in the USA for us, in Canada, and potentially Europe as well. So I would look at holding some of our products over there, not just in the UK, and capitalizing on that interest properly and marketing out to those different areas. At the moment, all of our marketing spend is really around the UK market. So I would definitely branch out of the UK to grow.
Right. And what would you say are the biggest risks with this business that buyers should be aware of?
I think the biggest risk with this type of business is probably around stockists, suppliers, and inventory. So making sure that the supply chain's nice and tight, that you're not reliant just on single stockists, particularly for niche products. So you've got a number of suppliers you can rely on if something happens with one of them. Logistics, getting stock in on time. I guess there's a risk in terms of holding too much or holding too little inventory, and leading on from that, cash flow. So making sure that you've got enough cash flow to invest in the right stock at the right time. And I guess with any online business would be the risk of things like data security breaches.
How much support are you willing to offer the buyer who acquires this business?
I'm willing to give new buyers lots of support for the business. So a good month of real intensive training and then 3 to 6 months ad hoc after that as needed. It's super important to me that the business continues to be really, really successful. And I want to give new buyers every chance and all my knowledge to go forward with and my ideas so that they can take that along with their own experience and knowledge and have every chance of lots and lots of success for the brand in the future.
Are you open to negotiating something like an earn-out agreement?
I'll be honest, I had to Google what an earn-out payment structure actually is. So I can't say that I'm particularly au fait with that sort of structure. Probably not something I would look to do, though. I would rather sell the business to somebody and let them move on with it with as much kind of support as I can give them at the start.
Okay, final question. If you had to put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why is your business a business worth buying?
Putting myself in the shoes of a buyer, I think this business is worth buying because somebody else has spent the last 7 years learning, experimenting, putting things in place and having a business with really solid foundations and an identity and branding now that has loads and loads of opportunities in front of it to scale and grow. There's been lots of testing in the period that's gone before. But from where you're sitting, this is a business that has a great reputation. It's got a lot of trust out there, won lots of awards, mentioned in lots of media. So it's got a really good standing and a perfect position to build on. So yeah, I'd say it definitely is a business worth buying.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this business is still for sale, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll find everything you need to know about this business. So thanks for joining us. See you next time.